Hi guys, and welcome to Strength Universe. Lou Ferrigno, the star of the iconic 1970s superhero The Incredible Hulk, was born Louis Jude Ferrigno on the 9th of November 1951 and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Lou had a difficult childhood due to a significant loss of hearing and speech impediment, after suffering from multiple ear infections as a young child that led to him being bullied at school. At the age of 13 in 1964, Lou set his sights on building a body like his comic book hero, The Incredible Hulk. The future icon began weight training, embarking on his fitness journey. Lou trained rigorously over the next few years to attain his dream physique. After graduating from high school in 1969 at 18 years old, he was determined to prove his doubters wrong. In 1971, at the age of 20, Lou entered his first competition, the WBBG Pro Mr. America, in the teen division. He'd sculpted an impressive physique through his years of hard work, and finally his dreams became a reality when he won the first place trophy. Over the preceding years, Lou competed in several more competitions, including Team Mr. America, Pro Mr. America, and the NABBA Mr. Universe. But it wasn't until 1973 that his career really took off, when he won the titles of IFBB Mr. America and shortly after Mr. Universe. Big Lou's momentum continued in 1974, when he won the title of IFBB Mr. International, and a few weeks later he was crowned Mr. Universe for a second time consecutively. Following this victory, talk started that this behemoth could dethrone Arnold Schwarzenegger at the Mr. Olympia, that was to take place just 6 days later. But at the Mr. Olympia, it became all too obvious that despite standing 3 inches taller and outweighing Arnold by around 20 pounds, Big Lou didn't have the muscle mass to fill out his tall frame. In early 1975, Lou was training to compete in the ABC series Superstars, when he was approached by George Butler to appear in his documentary film titled Pumping Iron. Lou decided to take part in Butler's movie and would return to Superstars the following year. Over the following months, as is well documented in Pumping Iron, Lou was trained by his overbearing narcissistic father. He arrived at the 1975 Mr. Olympia standing 6'5" tall and tipping the scales at approximately 275 pounds, some 30 pounds heavier than the defending champion, but couldn't match either Serge Nubret nor Arnold's symmetry, and ultimately finished the competition in 3rd place. Following this result, Lou briefly stepped away from bodybuilding to appear in the 1976 series of Superstars that featured an overhead press. Using a jerk technique, Lou's best was a lucky 290 pounds, before just missing out on the Superstars record of 310, to finish in 2nd place just behind Olympic shot putter Brian Oldfield. The following year, Lou had moved to California in preparation to start training for the Mr. Olympia, but after the release of Pumping Iron, he was asked to audition for the role of The Incredible Hulk. It was while filming The Incredible Hulk that Big Lou heard that the inaugural World's Strongest Man competition was being filmed nearby.
And I got a phone call that at the same location they were having the first World's Strongest Man competition, 1977. And I was working day and night shooting the pilot of the Hulk. And I said to myself, why not jump into the competition? Because most people don't know how strong I really am. I've been very strong in the gym, but I wanted people to know how strong I was, and I love competition. I didn't do any preparation. I just walked from this film set, the next day competed in the World's Strongest Man, and then Monday back to filming.
It's worth noting that the scoring system used in the early World's Strongest Man competitions was unusual, in that it only awarded points to the top 4 competitors, and those points were weighted in such a way that gave the winner of each event a disproportional advantage. Big Lou's competition got off to the worst possible start, after he was disqualified from the barrel press for using leg drive, and thus went into the 2nd event, the bar bend, with no points. But here Lou went from 0 to hero by bending the 5/8 of an inch rebar more than any other competitor to win the event, and propel himself into joint 2nd place overall. The 3rd event was the wrist roll, and saw Ferrigno making it through to the final, where he tied for 2nd place along with Franco Columbu. The result saw Big Lou climb up the table to jointly lead the competition, going into the wheelbarrow race that required the competitors to push the 750-pound barrow up a 9% incline. While Ferrigno undoubtedly had the size and strength, he struggled to get to grips with the technique and fell before the finish line and was thus disqualified for the second time in just 4 events. Lou's bad luck left him trailing both Bruce Wilhelm and Franco Columbu, seeing him fall down the leaderboard to 3rd place overall. The ability of some of the events to accurately reflect the athlete's strength is debatable. One such event is a tire toss, which massively favoured athletes who had experience in throwing sports such as Ken Patera, John Cole and Jules Wren, all of whom were national and even Olympic level throwers in the discus, and thus had a huge technical advantage. This would become all too apparent as Lou struggled to get to grips with the event and was disqualified for a 3rd time, resulting in him slipping to 4th place overall. Big Lou's poor results in the more technical events continued in a trample, in which he failed to keep in a low position or maintain constant tension on the rope, finishing his 3rd event in a row with 0 points, yet he still managed to hold on to his 4th place overall. The 7th event was the car deadlift, and at least on paper was the best measure of static strength thus far. Unfortunately, the rules were not particularly strict and resulted in most of the athletes performing a lift that was more akin to a hack squat or leg press. Regardless, Ferrigno was the only man to lift a 2,684 pound weight and did so with more in the tank. His 2nd victory of the competition saw him leapfrog both Franco Columbu and Ken Patera. The car deadlift was followed by the squat, and quickly showed that Big Lou probably wasn't a squat monster, as he failed the 2nd round lift of 526 pounds. Despite his failure to score any points, Lou held on to his 2nd place on the leaderboard, although now just half a point clear of Ken Patera. The penultimate event was the refrigerator race, after which the top 4 competitors on the leaderboard would go through to the final event, the tug of war. Here Big Lou recorded a time of 25 seconds dead that saw him finish outside of the scoring positions. But despite this, he only slipped to 4th place overall and made it through to the final event. In the tug of war, Big Lou's lack of body weight and athleticism compared to the other finalists meant that he was always going to struggle, and so that proved to be the case, as he narrowly lost out to Bob Young before being outgunned by Ken Patera. Big Lou finished the competition as the 4th strongest man in the world, an excellent result considering he didn't train for the competition, was disqualified from 3 of the events, and had never done strength-specific training. Following the competition, Ferrigno returned to acting, starring in the series of The Incredible Hulk until 1981. In 1983, Lou starred as the iconic Hercules. Despite mixed reviews from critics, the movie was popular with fans. Over the following few years, Big Lou appeared in several movies, most notably The Adventures of Hercules, Sinbad of the Seven Seas, and Cage, as well as a trilogy of Incredible Hulk movies. In 1992, Lou, who was now 41 years old and rumoured to be well over 300 pounds, made an astonishing return to the Mr. Olympia stage. There he dwarfed the mass monster Dorian Yates and is still one of the heaviest bodybuilders to have ever competed in the competition. Despite Lou's size, he finished down in 12th in 1992 and then 10th in 1993. The following year, he switched to the Masters Olympia, where he finished runner-up behind the great Robbie Robinson.
Thank you, everybody. I want to say tonight officially, I have retired from bodybuilding. It's time for me to move on, to do appearances, go back to show business. But I want to say that thank you very much for making who I am today. And it brings a little sadness to me, but goodbye and thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I love you all.
Over the preceding years, Big Lou gave several interviews, both published and on video, in which he claimed some very big lifts, starting with the bench press, for which in a 2014 interview with the Los Angeles Times, he stated that he used to bench press 600 pounds or 272.5 kilograms. However, in this later interview he gave with the Comic, Beer and Sci-Fi channel, Big Lou stated the following.
What have you had to adjust with your training?
Used to train lighter. I would train heavy like I used to. I used to bench 560.
Next up is the squat, for which Lou made the following claim during a 2019 interview with the Pensacola News Journal.
Squat. Squat, I would say about 640. 6 is not very tall.
Finally, we come to the deadlift, for which Lou claimed during his interview with the Pensacola News Journal.
Deadlift?
About 900.
900.
I was in the first real strongest man. I beat John Cole. John Cole with the world record deadlift at 900 pounds. I defeated both of them.
Note that Lou's claim for a 900-pound deadlift is solely based on the fact that he beat John Cole in the car deadlift at the 1977 World's Strongest Man, who himself had previously achieved a 900-pound deadlift. However, Lou's reasoning is very poor, given that the weight of the car in the hand was never measured. But more importantly, Cole was far from his peak at the World's Strongest Man, and despite the name of the event, the technique used to lift the car was not comparable to a conventional deadlift. That's it for the video, but please leave a comment below letting me know what you think of Lou's claimed lifts. If you enjoyed the video, please help to support my channel by hitting like, sharing the video and subscribing for more. Thank you.